So today we are going to review a classic 1995 film, Seven. But we are not going to do it in an ordinary way. We are going to do it through a criminological perspective.
David Fincher's Seven is a psychological crime thriller that delves into the darkest corners of human morality and justice.
The film follows two detectives, Somerset and Mills, who track a serial killer, John Doe, who meticulously executes his victims according to the 7 deadly sins. This review will try to analyze the film's depiction of criminal psychology, investigative techniques, and theoretical framework.
7.
What? Another murder with the same MO? A sin written at the crime scene? Damn it. So we have got a pattern, 3 murders, each victim representing deadly sins. Our guy leaves a message written in blood. He's methodical and deliberate. Any insights?
This is not just theatrics. This might be a twisted interpretation of Calvinism.
Calvinism? You think religion's playing a role here?
Yes. So basically, Calvinism is a Protestant belief which preaches that God is in control and that some people, they are chosen for salvation and that faith is the only way to be saved. So I can say your killer here, he thinks he's an instrument of divine justice.
So he thinks he's got the right to decide who lives or dies.
And that makes him more dangerous. Religious extremism is often used to justify acts of violence. Our killer does not consider himself as a murderer. He thinks he's the chosen one who's destined to rid the society of his sins. And this belief allows him to justify his actions and rid himself of the guilt that these murders carry.
Okay, so let's build a profile. This isn't just a crime of passion, it is planned. This guy is intelligent, highly organized, and methodical.
Fits into the trait of antisocial personality disorder.
Right. And given his control over the narrative, he's likely enjoying that tension. So he's not just punishing, he's making a statement.
I found this man's diary. He's insane, a psycho. He's meticulous, almost theatrical. The victims are chosen deliberately. Gluttony, greed, sloth. He's making a damn list of it.
This confirms it. He's exhibiting traits of psychopathy and antisocial personality disorder. Antisocial personality disorder involves a consistent pattern of disregard for others, often with manipulative and deceitful and aggressive behavior, and a complete lack of empathy. Some of history's most famous killers like Charlie Manson, Ted Bundy, and Jeffrey Dahmer have been seen to possess ASPD and psychopathy. They operate with a logic that is terrifyingly structured.
Why do we need all this information?
Well, we need this to understand his pattern and to make a criminal profile. So basically, by decoding the crime scenes, we can anticipate his next move, or even, we might be able to identify his next target, or even identify the killer, and we can stop him.
In the film, criminal profiling is a crucial tool used by the detectives to understand and track the killer John Doe. Detectives Somerset and Mills recognize that the murders follow the 7 deadly sins, indicating a methodical and ideological killer rather than an impulsive one. Through psychological profiling, they identify traits of ASPD and psychopathy. The detectives also use investigative tools like library records to track individuals researching similar themes. Doe is ultimately classified as an organized killer, demonstrating intelligence, patience, and the ability to manipulate law enforcement, as seen in his calculated surrender and final act of psychological control over Mills.
Innocent? Is that supposed to be funny? An obese man? A disgusting man who could barely stand up? A man who, if you saw him on the street, you'd point him out to your friends so that they could join you in mocking him? A man who, if you saw him while you were eating, you wouldn't be able to finish your meal? And after him, I picked the lawyer, and you both must have secretly been thanking me for that one. This is a man who dedicated his life to making money by lying with every breath that he could muster to keeping murderers and rapists on the streets.
Murderers.
A woman,
Murderers, John, like
a
yourself.
woman, so ugly on the inside that she couldn't bear to go on living if she couldn't be beautiful on the outside. A drug dealer, a drug dealing pederast, actually. Only in a world this shitty could you even try to say these were innocent people and keep a straight face. But that's the point. We see a deadly sin on every street corner, in every home, and we tolerate it. We tolerate it because it's common. It's trivial. Well, not anymore. I'm setting the example. And what I've done is going to be puzzled over and studied and followed.
That's neutralization theory. Criminals often justify their actions using techniques like denial of responsibility or blaming the system. John Doe sees himself as a judge and not a murderer.
Exactly. He's pinning his violent acts as a crusade against society's immorality and hypocrisy. Furthermore, he goes on to criticize the law enforcement and their failings. This rationalization allows him to escape personal responsibility and accountability. These techniques of neutralization can be seen in many offenders, particularly street offenders and drug dealers.
But here's what I don't get. Who gives him the right to decide what's right or wrong?
Well, that is the uncomfortable truth he wants us to face. Is he just a twisted killer? Or is he holding up the mirror to society's decay?
Is he a necessary evil or a reflection of what we refuse to acknowledge?